Scary. We're on. All right. I'm going to also share my screen because I have a presentation that I want to show you.
You usually do this time-ish?
Time, like how long?
No, this time of day. Like afternoon for you, like 5 for me, which is totally fine. I'm just wondering if next Saturday is that if that's what you're planning
I
to.
just kept it the same time of day,
Okay.
just Saturday instead of Sunday. Hopefully
Yeah,
that
yeah.
works.
That should work fine for me. Okay.
Okay. You guys can see my screen, right?
Mhm. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
I'm using a non PowerPoint. This is a new application, so I'm getting
Oh,
used to it, but just bear with me. All right.
okay.
So thanks for being here. I'm so glad you guys are both here. And really, like, I always want to thank people for like trusting me, especially, some of my early groups, they blindly just said, I'll do whatever program you're doing. And they were like, my beta groups were like, I don't even know what this is. Like they came in totally blind. They were like, yeah, sure, I'll do your program. So thanks for trusting me with your body and your mind. It really means a lot to me that you'd be willing to, to embark on this with me. And, your time is valuable. I know that. So I'm going to try and respect that around every workshop that we do and make sure that you're getting something out of it. Um, Before we really dive into anything, I just want to talk about confidentiality. So I take it very seriously. Thank you both for everything that you shared in the intake form. That really helps inform me what direction we want to go with each group, or if I'm coaching somebody individually, it helps, really helps me steer that. So I learned a ton about both of you throughout that and what your goals are. But I want to keep everything confidential, even inside this small group. So if you want to share, that's up to you. I'll try and keep what you told me to myself, but we'll coach around it, right? I want to offer each one of you a one-on-one during these 4 weeks. So typically think it's good to kind of do it towards the end of the 4 weeks because you've got a lot. We learn a lot along the way, and then we can kind of individualize. But if there's anything pressing, anything that you want to talk about, I have a Calendly link, and we can set up time for a 1 hour one-on-one anytime during the 4 weeks. And then obviously just text me either in a group chat or on the side for anything that you want to talk about. Sound good?
Cool. Yes.
All right. So I did notice there are a couple of areas that you guys have totally in common, some differences for sure. We're going to get to that at the end. But it's kind of fun when people have common goals because we can really double down on those areas in the group. So thought that was cool. All right,
Sure.
we go through introductions. I'm going to kind of tell you what you're going to need to start. We're going to talk a little bit about gut health and nutrition because that's a big focus of the program. I want you to really be prepared for the first week. So next week is not technically the first week. Next week is you are getting ready with what I'm going to tell you. And then the first week is really going to be after next Saturday. We're going to start the program itself. Now, with that said, we've got a lot to get through today. It's going to set us up for success, but I want you to know what to expect. And I think that really helps people kind of get ready. So we're going to organize, we're going to make sure we have all the equipment we need. We're going to make sure we've got all the right, foods to start the program. And I don't want you to feel like you have to jump in. If you're kind of like, look, I want to learn stuff in this 4 weeks and then maybe I'll apply it, that's fine too. I think people get the most out of it when they start biting off the little chunks weekly, starting to change the habits week by week, and then building upon them. I think I've seen the most success. But sometimes you're just not ready. And that's that. I want you to know that this is totally your program to do the way that you want. Um, so I'm going to show you a shopping list and how I use it. I have some supplements that I recommend. All these recommendations are literally just things that will help you. They're not, non-negotiables. I have a fitness plan in place. Usually people come to this program, they're already doing something, they're already working out. So whatever you can give to some of my workouts is great. But if you have a gym or you're working out with a trainer, like keep doing what you're doing. But I will give you some recommendations around that. I have a lot of online resources that I recommend to people, and books and things that I really enjoy that will kind of help support what you're learning. And then at the end, I'll show you kind of what are the sources of my research and what are my certifications. I will tell you a little bit about my qualifications before we get started. But yeah, that's about it.
So
And
on like the shopping list, will you have a link or a list for us to, okay,
I do. I have a lot of resources to share today.
awesome.
Hopefully you've got printers that you can print out. In the beginning, I was trying to print everything out for everybody and send these packets, and that just like jammed up my printer and took a lot of time. And, you know, some people don't like all the paper, but I think it's useful. So, you know, I have one person who like, I took my notebook and used to bring it. I did this in person for the people that live close to me. And she's like, I brought my materials with me. I'm taking notes. So very cute. But haven't been doing that in the last couple of groups because I'm going to leave it up to you to print what you want.
Yeah.
You have some resources.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
you know, I know that change can be daunting, and sometimes it like doesn't fit into the things that you have going on right now. So this is meant to be something that can fit into any schedule, and principles that it can apply to anyone. You can share these with your family. But what I will say is the key is going to be consistency and planning. Like those are the two things that I think helped me be more successful with keeping, you know, keeping in on a, you know, I don't want to call it a diet because it's not anymore for me, but I was just consistent with it. If I had one meal where I kind of went off my plan, you know, I didn't let that, I didn't take that all or nothing mentality. So I just want you to come into it with an open mind about that. So about your coach, that's me. As for my qualifications, I have a bachelor's degree in psychology and a bachelor's degree in women's studies. So I got 2 degrees because they didn't offer women's studies as a minor. I'm a certified health coach and fitness trainer. So those certifications I've gotten recently really because I wanted some credibility doing this program. I started doing NASM, if you're familiar with that, like 5 or 6 years ago, I would say. I did all of the studying, and then I got this really intense job where I was managing a team in San Francisco, and I just never took the test. I spent all this money. I studied. I had all these flashcards. So I took this kind of what I would consider a fast online fitness training certification just to get it done, because I didn't want to pay like $1 billion to do the NASM again. But I really think the 2 programs that I did were pretty good. So I have those certifications. And, you know, I'm just like a regular person. Like I don't feel like I'm anybody special, but I've experienced my own journey struggling with an eating disorder and a lot of body dysmorphia. You know, I'd say like just under 10 years ago, I would start every week with like, okay, it's an emergency. I have to lose weight. Like that is what went through my mind you know, on Sunday night. I was going to do something to change my life forever. And I spent so much time sort of chasing a number on the scale, chasing a body ideal that didn't exist. And the reason it didn't exist is because if I got to some place where I thought I wanted to be, that changed, right? I'd get to a certain number on the scale. And I'm like, oh, that's not enough. So I was chasing this body ideal that didn't exist. I made it a moving target. And you can read a little more about this in my blog post. I have 1 blog post so far, and it's really kind of about that a little bit more. I want you to know that if there's a diet, I've tried it. I've tried every diet under the sun. I have gained and lost over 75 pounds at one point. And this program is kind of a culmination of all these experiences that I've had, you know, since I was probably, I would say 13 is when things started really getting in my brain and sticking. You know, words mean a lot. And when someone you trust tells you one little thing that they didn't even mean, that can really make a difference in how you see yourself. So, you know, it's really just a culmination of all of that eating disorder recovery. So I did an eating disorder recovery program, and it was based on neuroscience principles. So I did a lot of therapy, and every therapist that I went to, even if they were eating disorder specialists, they wanted to talk about like, what's your trauma? And I definitely had trauma. Like that stuff existed, but that wasn't going to fix my eating disorder when I was in therapy, right? None of those like that takes decades to fix. So it never worked. And sometimes it made it worse because it brought up all the trauma again, you know, you just like was an open wound. So I ran into, somebody, I think on social media, like a program. I think, you know how it's listening to you and it can hear like the conversations you're having. And it was a woman named Lydia Knight, and she had this program, and she wasn't a therapist. She was a life coach, right? It's kind of like me. She's a person like me who had an eating disorder, who fixed it with neuroscience. So being able to rewire your brain, the way that you think about food, and you can use those principles. She's gone on to create all these programs for a lot of different things, not just eating disorders, but you know, how to like stop getting in your own way and start your own business and all this stuff. So she's pretty amazing. So based on those neuroscience principles and a lot of experimentation and trial and error, you know, I didn't get it right the first time. I went through, I think it was a 16-week program, and you know, I continued to have lapses. I will continue to have lapses, but for the most part, you know, the lapses are fewer and far between. And think my life is 1,000% different than it was 5 years ago, even. So I've learned, you know, kind of how to find the balance needed that I needed to live a, you know, a healthy and happy life. And, you know, you guys can both attest to the fact that I'm a pretty well-rounded, happy person most of the time. I have my ups and downs. So I want you to introduce yourselves. I've got your pictures here. We got your, just in case one of you wasn't on, I wanted to make sure I had a picture, but you're both here, so that's great. So whoever wants to go first, just say a couple words about yourself and what you kind of want to share as we go through this program.
I can go first since my picture's first on the right, left-hand side. So I'm Natalie Timbo. I live in San Anselmo, California. So I wasn't looking to go into this journey. It came up when I started working with Emily. She started speaking about it, and it actually resonated with me because over the last year, I've been having my worst year probably when it comes to weight journey. I've never had an eating disorder. Growing up, I was never skinny. I was never overweight. I was always more kind of athletic. I had that like athletic build. I did have, my mom used to call me out of her, I don't know, it's like a endearing word, but not really. She would call me gordita. And right. And
What?
gordita, and it means little chubby, right? And that was when I was little. And also my mom, like whenever she hugs me, she'll like go, "Oh, you got a little going on here," right? So, but honestly, that never really, it did and it didn't, because the way I never let it bother me myself, but I never had a scale, never owned a scale. I didn't want to see how much I weighed. Until recently, like a couple years ago when my husband bought a scale. And I know why I didn't like a scale, because once I get on it, I'm obsessed. And so in like over the last year, like in this picture here, I was 25 pounds lighter. And that picture was taken 3 years ago. So it's a lot of things that happen especially within the last year. Could be hormonal, stress from my previous job. There was a lot of stuff going on there. You know, I was more sedentary. I wasn't moving as much as I was before. I wasn't, you know, I'd go for a hike, but then I'd go home and I wouldn't do anything. Like that was it. And so it just kind of all like came at me at once. And when I got on the scale one day, I was like, oh, wow, I need to go back to the gym, because I hadn't been going to the gym. I started going to the gym. I was going 4 or 5 times a week, and I'd look at the scale, nothing was happening. Now my eating habits it's kind of all over the place. You know, I would do 3 meals and then I'm like, okay, that I think I'm eating too much on one, you know, my portions are all messed up. Um, so recently I'm doing more of like intermittent fasting in the morning. So like I'm trying to stop eating at like by 7 o'clock at night, like nothing after 7 o'clock. And then I probably won't eat until the next day at lunchtime. I think it's helping. It's still too early to say. Um, However, I still got to work on my portion size. And I do have a bit of a sweet tooth. So sometimes after dinner, I like to have a little something sweet. I get those cravings, but it's baby steps at this point. So, so yeah, so I've done cleanses before and it's worked. It kind of helps me start, but then it's like you know, I'm pretty good for a couple of months and then I get back into my bad habits. So, you know, I've tried keto. I mean, that was okay. Oh, and another thing that happened last year that really freaked me out was when I went to go get my biometrics done for work, I had high blood pressure and high cholesterol. I had never had high blood pressure. My blood pressure has always been lower, like on the lower side. It's been like 110 over um 80 or 70 or something like that, like always. And then this time when I went, it was like 135 over 90. And I was like, wait, what? No, that's a mistake. And she goes, do you want to retake it? I'm like, she goes, do you want to retake it again? I'm like, not now, because now I'm freaking out even more. I'm like, no. So I actually retook it a week later because I still had time. I'm like, I'll take it again later. And like within that week, I was really conscious of what I was doing. And it did lower my blood pressure. But a lot of it, I think, had to do with the stress of the job that I was at, because there was just a lot going on. And I was there for about a little over 2 years. I should have seen some red flags when I started there, but
I've
I'm the
been
type,
there, Natalie.
I think we all have. I think we all have. But I'm the type of person like thinking, no, I can get through this. You know, there's bigger picture. You know, so I I gave it more longer than I should have. And I think that really messed with my health as well, my health journey. So now I have a new job. I met Emily. That's a highlight. And I'm ready to kind of get myself back. I'm tired of feeling tired all the time. I want my energy back. I mean, I'm that type of person where I thrive off of energy, and a lot of times I've just been like, ugh, like, yeah, I'm just too tired. So I'm ready to feel good again.
Cool.
Well,
Thank you for sharing all of that.
I can shorten my intro to say that we are sisters from another mister. I can ditto almost everything you said. But my reasons might be a little different, but my mom called me big boned, not gordita, but I was big boned.
Okay, mine called me pleasingly plump.
Oh my gosh. Is it
That's
the
the word that
generation?
stuck.
What is
That was the
wrong
thing
with
that stuck and screwed me up.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
is-
and screw,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
It might be that generation, but I don't know. Anyway, but I think I was 5 pounds. So same, have lost and gained all the things and done all the diets. But for my 40th birthday, every decade I would kind of get my shit together a little bit. But I was about 5 pounds away from what I thought was my goal for my 40th. And then just a bunch of stuff happened. You know, my boyfriend cheated on me. My long-term boyfriend cheated on me. Then I got laid off. I got asked to move to Chicago, but it wasn't feasible. So basically I got laid off. And it just was a spiral. Then my mother died. Then a year later, my grandma died. Then a couple of years later, my stepdad died. And then it was COVID. I mean, it was just like all these things that happened and I never really recovered from any of them, and I'm an emotional eater. So every time I'd be in the hospital with somebody, I'm like, well, I just need to go down to the cafeteria and get something. And my dad enforces that. He's the worst. Like every time my stepmom has a procedure, he's like, can we go to the cafeteria? And I'm like, this is where I get it. You're such a problem child. And he walks into my house. Do you have any ice cream? No, I don't buy it, Dad, so that I don't eat it. You know? So anyway, I think it sounds like we had very similar, not the same, but very similar, you know, things. And I'm of the age, I think you might be a little bit younger than me, but I'm of the age now. I tried to get it together again for my 50th, which also coincided with my son getting married. Worked out for 8 months, did HIIT 6 times a week, got my diet in shape, all the things that had worked previously, quit drinking red wine, which was a very hard thing for me at the time. Not a big deal now, but like at the time I was like, that's my reward for a bad day at work, you know? Anyway, none of it worked. I lost 8 pounds total with all that hard work. I'm 55 over where I was when I turned 40. So, I too had never had high blood pressure or high cholesterol, got them both. They're better now because I've cleaned up my diet a lot. And I've been trying to exercise more consistently, but they're still not what they were. And I am told, and Emily, I'm so curious to hear all of your thoughts and learn all of this on the journey with you. But I am told a lot of that is due to my menopause, just that hormone imbalance that could be causing, one of the female doctors I saw said that causes your blood pressure and your cholesterol to go up, as well as drinking, which I'm like, okay, so basically I'm overweight, I'm old, none of my hormones work, and I can't drink. So what else? What else you got?
We need to put you out to pasture.
Isn't it like the cool joke of life that we're women, and so you know we get puberty, and with that we get like a monthly visitor, and then when that starts to go away, finally we get all kinds of freaking symptoms, and our whole world falls apart. I mean, it's not cool. And I think I mentioned this to both of you. There just has not been enough studies done on women's health for doctors to even know how to treat menopause, and we get overlooked. We come with symptoms that are unknown. I mean, I can't tell you how many doctors I went to with these freaking itchy ears. You know, I thought, oh, do I have like too much wax in my ears? What's going on here? No, they're red. There's no wax in your ears. They're like red and inflamed. Put some cortisone in there. Well, you know what? That's a symptom of menopause. But my gynecologist will not. It is. It's a symptom of perimenopause. It's drying out, right? My eyes are dry and
everything. My eyes are so bad. Okay.
Yep. I mean, I can talk for days about how the healthcare system treats us so horribly in terms of like some specific medication that I needed just, you know, to have comfortable intercourse. And the copay was $450 on some like vaginal suppository. A lot to share on a recorded line, but let me just tell you,
gosh,
I was like, this is so messed up. I can't even tell you what this is.
My lady was like, just get a jar of coconut oil and set it on.
Viagra away.
Oh my God.
I know. Okay. I'm not going to talk anymore, but I do want to just say this really fast because we're on this subject. I was looking up this thing that I had just read today. Threw out my back sleeping, tweaked my neck sneezing. I'm one strong fart away from paralysis. And I was like, yes, that is life right now. So there you go.
Yep. And hopefully I don't pee my pants when I'm farting.
Right.
Anyway. All right. We're already close. I love it.
We're going to get along great.
Everybody comes to this program with varying fitness levels, although I think we're kind of in the similar realm. I usually have mixed groups. Some groups, like my last group I had, you know, women in their 30s, women up to 55, 60. So it was kind of all over the map. But that doesn't mean that the fitness levels aren't different. The medical history isn't different. What they know about health and nutrition isn't different. Their motivation's different. Their goals are different. So there can't be a one size fits all design. But the program that I've built is a unique plan, and it's designed around a framework that's going to work with everybody. So there's a few basic foundational principles that we're going to apply to everybody in order to achieve optimal success. We're going to reduce inflammation. We're going to improve gut health. We're going to optimize longevity, and that's a very broad term for some of the things that we're going to do. Build skeletal muscle, and I'm going to tell you what that is. I need you to manage your stress, and we're going to try to eliminate toxicity as well. So we'll achieve all of this by doing the following. We're going to drink plenty of water. We're going to eat whole foods. Instead of focusing on what we don't get to eat or want to eat, we're going to focus on what we should eat more of. So we're going to put so much good food in your diet that you're not going to have any room or want for a bag of Cheetos or what, insert your favorite junk food there. More fruits and veggies, more fiber. And I have a lot of easy ways that you can achieve all of this. So I've got a seed blend, I've got a gut health blend, I've got veggie blends, I've got all this stuff that's just going to like hit the easy button on putting all that good stuff in. And it's going to be with, you're not going to sacrifice your pleasure. You're not going to be hungry. You can still have some chocolate. Things are going to taste different when you reset things, right? When you reset, like if I call it the sugar train. Like sometimes I get on the sugar train and I've gone on vacation and I've, allowed myself to enjoy some desserts. And then I come back and I'm like, I want some dessert again. Like it's the sugar train, right? And I'll tell you why that is in future stuff. I don't want to get too in the weeds right now. But when I get on the sugar train, like, how do I get off the sugar train? How do I stop? How do I get back to not wanting those things? Because it's definitely, I don't want to call it an addiction, but cravings are real. So we're going to reduce cravings and snacking by eating the right amounts of the macronutrients that you need. We're going to give your body the right vitamins and minerals through whole foods for the most part. And you're going to start to notice that you're not going to crave the things that you used to. So by limiting ultra processed foods, refined sugar, basically, if it comes from a package, limit it. I consider flours like white flour, wheat flour, gluten-free flour, anything like that is a processed food, right? Wheat doesn't look like fine powder when it's growing. So start thinking about foods that way. Now, this doesn't mean you can't have bread ever. And it doesn't mean you're not going to, you're going to eliminate that totally, but you're going to limit it, right? Those are the foods that, because it's so processed, no matter how you slice it, the healthiest flour is processed, and it makes it easier to just get large quantities into your body. Think about oil, olive oil. How many olives are in a tablespoon of olive oil? I think it's something like 27 olives. You would never sit down and eat 27 olives normally. So you just have to think about how things are processed. Now, olive oil can be really healthy for you if you buy the right kind. So I'm going to point you in the direction of the types of oils that are healthier for you. There's a lot of really bad stuff out there, and packaging is pretty loose in terms of what you can put on a label. So a lot of the extra virgin olive oil that's, labeled organic and healthy it only has to have a certain amount of really good extra virgin olive oil to be called extra virgin olive oil. It can be mixed laced with like really bad oils. So I've vetted a ton of brands. So, what I've done, I haven't created anything revolutionary, but I've collected so much information that I'm going to give you, here are the answers to the test. Go buy this brand or whichever one fits into your budget, or whichever one you can find in your area, right? I'm sure there's going to be different products in Kansas City than there are in California. So that is what I'm going to provide for you here. For the next 30 days, I want you to try to avoid all this processed food, flour, sugar, too much oil altogether for 30 days, for 4 weeks. Like, just try and limit it, because then you're going to come and add back stuff. Natalie, may I share the program that you had done before? Is that okay with you?
Yeah, go ahead.
The Arbonne program. So I used to be an Arbonne rep, if you can believe that.
Okay. So you're very familiar with it.
Very familiar with that. In fact, I had a friend who is selling me some of the skincare products actually. But I was already like super, into health. And she's like, you should really do this. Like you would be really good. Will you help me coach? And so I started just helping her. And then of course I became a rep, and I think there's a lot of things in that program that are really great, right? There's a lot of things. But when you think about protein powder is processed. So we're pushing don't eat junk food, but buy our protein powder and all these different powders. So I kind of, and some of the stuff really bothered me. I have a very sensitive system, and I'll tell you about my rash later, but I have this rash, Nicole, that I was complaining about. And I think I figured out what I'm allergic to. Yeah.
Work.
Gin. I started drinking gin on vacation.
Oh,
To juniper.
Oh.
To juniper. And I think it built up in my system. Anyway, that's a whole other story, but.
oh, well, good thing you found out early enough, sort of.
Yeah. Sort of. It's got worse.
Yeah.
Better.
It didn't look bad.
It's burning right now. I don't have I can't even put makeup on my face. All right. So the other thing you're going to do, you're going to be moving your body every day. And this includes all the stuff that you're doing normally: sweeping, vacuuming, cleaning, yard work, taking the stairs instead of an elevator, parking at the far end of the parking lot. We're just going to focus on how much movement we can get, because if you look at people who are aging and the people, women in their 70s and 80s who walk every day, who have play tennis or golf or swim, they live better lives than the ones who were smoking and playing cards with their girlfriends and now they can't move. Like my mom, and I hope my mom doesn't watch all these videos because I'm always using her as the example, but she's kind of my inspiration for wanting to stay healthy. But my mom has had knee replacements. She wasn't someone who exercised. She smoked, but she quit. So she's healthier than she was. When she started walking when she turned, in her, like 70s, she's turning 75 next week. In her late 60s, she started walking with some people, but then she stopped doing it. And she even said, I felt better, but it's just so hard to get out. And, she was here trying to do some of the workouts with me. And we did this, we were getting down on a mat, and she's like, I'm like, what's going on? Like, she just had this look on her face, like, I'm not going down on a mat. I'm like, why? And she's like, because I can't get back up. Like, she literally would not go down on the mat because she didn't want to be embarrassed about what it would take to get her up off the mat. So the other day we were doing a workout. I don't think you were with us on Friday, Nicole, but my sister was on, and I was like, we're going to do runs and we're going to go down on our mat. And I said, because I'm not going to be like my mom who won't get up, right? We're getting up and down, like being able to get up and down. You take it for granted that you can do it. But if you don't do it, you're not going to be able to do it. So
yes,
movement, workouts, formal workouts, but also just being active in your normal daily life. And then I want you to also take care of your mind, your mental health. Feed your mind with positivity. We're going to focus on gratitude. We're going to make time for ourselves. We're going to build meaningful connections with people that we care about. We got to have healthy boundaries with work and other things. And then just focusing on healthy body expectations. Like, yes, I would like to lose 50 pounds, but what if I just changed my body composition, felt better, and fit into my pants and didn't worry about what was on the scale? So
which pants? Most of mine have an elastic waist now. So which pants are we defining fitting back into?
It was just a figure of speech.
I'm kidding you. I'm kidding. I would like to just wear some jeans that I haven't worn in a while, or whatever. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's like, I have pants. I fit into all my clothes, but sometimes they feel comfortable and sometimes they don't feel comfortable. I want to feel comfortable. And when I feel comfortable, I feel happier. I feel more relaxed. I mean, all of those things are true.
Yes.
So I've designed a meal framework, an exercise plan, and I have ways to help you with your mental and spiritual health and make those things a priority. So it's a lot. It sounds like a lot. And it's like, it's all this change, but I've got easy buttons. I've got ways that I like hacked all this stuff because I have to find a way to do it. I'm super busy. I got a kid in college who requires a lot of my attention. She FaceTimes me constantly. Love her to death. But, she's always like calling me like in the middle of something.
Yeah.
Crazy. All right. So
Our
where to
mothers.
start and what you will need. I can't remember what you both answered about wanting to do a cleanse, but we're going to go over like 2 options that I have for the first week if you're into it. If you're not into it, we don't have to do it. But it's kind of like a quick start, a jump start. There's a gut health reset. One is a 2-day cleanse, and one is the 2-day cleanse with 5, like all 5 days, you're like adding things in. So we'll talk about that a little bit. There is the shopping list, meal guidelines, our schedule for the month. I'm going to go over that, our fitness resources, and all the program resources. So I want to show you where to find this stuff. And I don't know how to switch up. Hold on a second. I go to share. This is what trips me up when I'm doing this.
I have a question, Emily. I don't know if you know the answer to it or not.
Mhm.
Does sparkling water affect your gut in any way? Because I drink a lot of it, and I wonder if that does anything
The
in a
jury
negative way.
out. The jury is out. So sparkling water in and of itself, the carbonation does not. Some people get gassy from it, but it's not going to mess with your gut microbiome. If you're drinking the flavored waters and it says natural flavors, and I'll get into this in the Detoxify Your Life in greater detail, but the FDA doesn't have any regulations around what you can slap on a label for natural flavors. So a natural flavor could be something really bad for you, could have contain mold, that could, like citric acid. There's vitamin C from like oranges, and then there's citric acid that's made in a lab from mold. So if you're, if it's like synthetic, it could be bad. We don't have any regulation around that. So I steer clear of flavored sparkling water. If you want to get really, really deep into it, some of the cans that the sparkling water is in is not good for you. I mean, something's going to kill you. So look, you want to drink a lot of water. If it helps you drink water, then you just keep drinking what you're drinking. But there are all kinds of things that build up in your system. There's forever chemicals that are in some different kinds of bottles and plastic bottles. And it gets very complicated and convoluted. Yeah. I personally have a sparkling water tap. So I have a tap that filters water in my house. It has instant hot, it has filtered cold water, and it has sparkling water. And that's the most amazing thing in my life. Before that, I had a, what is that thing called? The SodaStream. Because you're saving bottles, but the SodaStream bottles are plastic. They're BPA free, but who knows what's in those. But I drink that, and I get in San Anselmo, there's a shop called Amphora Nuevo, which I'm sure you know, the olive oil and vinegar shop. Their flavored vinegars are amazing. They're probiotic. They're really good for your gut, and they have awesome flavors. So honey ginger, I'll put a little bit of that in my sparkling water, and that is like a mocktail. It's amazing. There's a Sicilian lemon. Nicole, I have a link where you can order that online if you're interested, but that's what I try to drink. Do I drink the LaCroix that Stefan's buying? Hell yes, I drink those. Great. But good to know, like, this is information that you now know, and you can do with it what you want. I don't want to.
I have an Instahot, but I didn't know there was such a thing where you could also have cold water and sparkling.
Yeah, I didn't know either until we got to remodel our kitchen because of a leak. Our refrigerator leaked and destroyed our floors and our whole bottom floor. And, Gary had been saving up money to remodel the kitchen, but, kitchen remodels can be really expensive, especially to do all the things you want. So because we got insurance money, we did it up, and we went to the appliance store, and the guy was like, well, we were like, we want an instant hot. We want it part of our tap, whatever. And he's like, well, if you're willing to dedicate a little space to this filtration system, we can do sparkling water. And then he put this vinegar in the water and had us try it. And I'm like, we have to get this, this is way out of our budget, but we're adding it on. And at first we were like, no. And then it was like, okay, we're going to do this. So anyway.
You only live once.
seriously, it was crazy. All right, now tell me what you see. Do you see us on the screen here?
I see the shopping list.
You do. Okay. So it's just showing this screen. Good. Okay. Let me maximize this somehow. Everything is all funky. All right. So here is, and I'm going to send you all of this, right? I'm going to send you a whole, it's a document. I think this is just the shopping list.
Okay.
So what I want to tell you is what I do is I don't know if you have an iPhone, but I have an iPhone, and in my notes section, I have this list, and I have what I buy at each different store that I go to, because I go to Trader Joe's. I don't know if you have Trader Joe's in Kansas City. I go to Costco for certain things, and certain things I can only find at Whole Foods. So I go to Whole Foods, and at Whole
Just
Foods.
because it says the Sunflower Showdown does not mean we don't have regular stores.
No, I know you do. But I don't know if Trader Joe's is there. I don't know if it's close to where you are. I think Overland Park, Kansas is a pretty big
We're
city.
happening.
Yeah.
Come visit.
Yeah. So you're going to have this, which you might just want to print this out, right? If you're a paper person and you take paper shopping list, you could print this out. I included this. Environmental Working Group puts out a clean 15 and a dirty dozen list every year. And it really is just a list of the worst produce for pesticides. So these are grown with the most pesticides, and it changes from time to time. And then what you can buy that's not organic. So I don't want you to like go out and like start, because it's expensive to shop organically, but here's what you could buy that's not organic. And then there's everything in between. So I've created my own little rating system where, hey, if you can find organic, that's great. That's one little leaf. I would highly recommend if you can get organic, if you've got 2 leaves next to it. And for three leaves, I'd say don't even buy it. If you can't find organic, don't buy it, because there's so many pesticides on that food. Hydroponic, if you can find hydroponic vegetables, they usually don't require pesticides. So those are really good options. There's a lot of peppers and cucumbers are usually grown hydroponically, and more stuff you can find at Costco that way. So just take a look at this. I mean, this is not all inclusive, but this is kind of going to get you through some of the recipes that I have. This is a really good list. The other one is going to be a supplement list. Oops. Oh, here, this is the supplemental information. So this is like 7 pages of all the different supplemental information. So the first thing I want to talk about, and you can, so are either of you interested in doing any kind of a cleanse? And when I say a cleanse, it's nothing crazy. It's not even 2 days of like kind of a cleanse.
I think I did maybe, just because I needed to kind of hear more and understand, especially with travel and stuff.
Natalie, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I've done a cleanse before. 2 days is actually nothing for a cleanse. So I mean, as long as it's nothing crazy, sure.
Yeah, no, it's not anything crazy. The thing about it is, and what I've learned, so it is called a leek soup detox. This is from Mireille, well, I can't remember her last name. She wrote a book called French Women Don't Get Fat. She was a French person who came to America in her early 20s to study for a year, and she gained like 25 pounds. And when she came back, her family didn't recognize her. And she wrote this book kind of observing like, what do Americans do that's different than French people? Now, very privileged, very snooty book. And her other books are equally snooty, but also like kind of fascinating. So I actually enjoyed those books very much. And this is what her family doctor put her on, this leek soup detox. I think in the show, Emily in Paris, I didn't watch that show, but when I was doing the research, like they mentioned this. So I think a lot of French people do this as a way to reset. It's leek broth. You cut the leeks up, you put them in water for like 20 minutes until they're tender. You drain off all the leeks and you save the leeks, and then you drink this broth. So you drink the broth for a day and a half. You drink a cup like every few hours. And then if you get hungry, you eat the actual cooked leeks, and you can put salt and pepper, you can put a little oil, you can put a little butter on them. They're really good. Now, it's a problem if you don't like leeks. My sister was like, I cannot choke this leek soup down. I'm not doing this. So she tried it and she hated it. So it seems like it's a little polarizing. You either love it or hate it. So I have the recipe for this leek soup detox. I have like the protocol and everything. It's really easy to do. The first, you can have black coffee, you can have water, you can eat. You're trying to reset your gut in the first days of this program. What I want you to do is reset your gut, because when your gut microbiome is overgrown with the bad bacteria, that's where the sugar cravings are coming in, right? Because the bacteria feeds on sugar. So if you're craving sugar, it's probably because you have a yeast overgrowth that needs sugar to survive, and it's taken over the good bacteria. So there's an imbalance. You probably still have good bacteria in your gut, but there's an imbalance, and it's craving all this sugar in order to procreate, right? So if you starve it, they're not going to go away fully, but they are going to be at bay and you won't have sugar cravings. So this is the fastest way, this leek soup detox, because leeks are a prebiotic fiber. So if by eating the leeks and drinking the leek soup, you're giving your digestive system a break so it can like repopulate with good bacteria. You're also having prebiotic fiber. And then alongside this, I don't really want people to not eat. I just want you to give your digestive system a break. So drink the leek soup. And then, when you get hungry, have something probiotic, have yogurt, with prebiotic, have the leeks, have fruit, maybe some nuts. So you're eating very little in these 2 days, but it's not like a juice cleanse, right? And at the end of the second day, you have a light meal, like with like fish, salad, small sweet potato, yogurt, berries, whatever. So it's really doable. As part of this 5-day gut reset, so there's a doctor named Dr. Amy Shaw, and she touts herself as the fasting MD. So she follows circadian fasting principles. So it's kind of like intermittent fasting. It's just a little more relaxed, and it follows the sun. So a lot of people, Natalie, you stopping eating at 7 o'clock really just follow this. Some people will eat till whenever and then not eat until like mid-afternoon, and then they'll just, start eating till the nighttime. So this really follows your circadian rhythms, which is you do stop eating around 6 or 7 o'clock at night, 3 hours before you go to bed. When you wake up in the morning, you usually do a fasted workout. You get sun. Hard to do if you're someone like me who gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning. You don't see the sun, and you probably need to eat before you see the sun. You're not going to be outside walking in the morning. So that part for me is really hard, but I follow everything else. I try to stop eating late at night. I'm up early. I have a little bit of black coffee in the morning. And, sometimes I've been trying to drink like lemon water with apple cider vinegar in the morning. That really kind of flushes out your system in the morning. And then I do my workout, and then I eat around 8 or 9 when I get to the office. And that seems to work really well for me. I'm not hungry until then anyway. So this 5-day gut reset is her plan. And I've added the leek soup to days 1 and 2 because it's in line with her plan. So that is here, and you can read all about that. So I want you to read all this stuff in this next week. And then the idea is we'll decide next Sunday if we want to start Monday and Tuesday doing either one of these or both. That's it. The meal guidelines. So these are meal guidelines. You have a morning meal, a midday meal, and an evening meal. And you're going to try and get things from all of these categories. So these are just suggestions of quantities. The things that I want you to pay close attention to are protein, so macronutrients, protein, starches or grains, fats. So you could call it carbs. I don't really call them carbs, but carb is the macronutrient. I don't think that fruit and vegetables are bad carbs at all. Like, you should eat those because they have fiber and they have all kinds of other things. Grains, on the other hand, and really starchy vegetables like potatoes, those are the things that I want you to pay close attention to. Menopausal women have a hard time losing weight if they're eating too many carbohydrates that are starchy. We just can't metabolize them. Our metabolic system is not the same as it was. So that is the one thing that I measure. I have my oatmeal in the morning. I don't know if Nicole, you may have heard the group talk about the oatmeal, that they love the oatmeal. Natalie has seen me eat the oatmeal every day. I eat it every day, but I measure 4 ounces of the oatmeal. and 6 ounces of the fruit. And the combination with the protein that I add to it keeps me full until lunchtime. Like I'm not even thinking about second breakfast like I used to or anything else. It really, really, the combination of those macronutrients is like a magical concoction, and it's delicious. I've eaten it every day except for like a couple of days on the weekend when Gary makes me like a delicious omelet or something for like 2 years straight. And I'm still not tired of it. And I don't even change it up. Like you could change it up a lot with the fruit and stuff, but I don't really change it up that much. I ate it on vacation almost every day. I love it because I don't feel hungry. And I used to be hungry. I used to eat breakfast and then I'd be like, what else can I have? And that drove me crazy because the only thing I could do was then do the intermittent fasting where I'd be like, I'm just going to starve myself until lunch. And then lunch would come around and I was like a fucking wild animal. Like I wanted to eat all the food. So that
I
didn't
can't
work.
remember if I told you, but I can't shut off the hunger signals. And so the doctor put me on metformin, even though I'm not diabetic, but and it makes me not feel hungry all the time. But they said it was like my blood sugars. So I'm sure like that combination just also stabilizes your blood sugars.
It does. All of these meal plans stabilize your blood sugar. All of the foods will stabilize your blood sugar. More protein is going to stabilize your blood sugar. So I did see that you were on that. I was going to talk about it privately, but if you share it,
Yeah,
then
I'm totally fine with it.
I had to look up what it was. I wasn't sure what it was. So I was wondering if you were pre-diabetic, but it sounds like you're not.
No, my fasting blood sugars are great.
This is gonna stabilize your blood sugar, and you might be able to, you know, hopefully we could make a collective goal for you to be able to get off of that medication because I'm sure you don't look like it had some side effects, Nicole.
I have been not taking it regularly ever since my gallbladder came out in August because it's just hard, you know, it's like which one's giving me diarrhea? I don't know. You know what I mean? So anyway, TMI.
No, it's not actually. I love talking about poop.
I've had my gallbladder taken out too, by the way.
Oh my God, Natalie, stop it. It's like we're living parallel lives. Seriously.
It's crazy.
With different names.
You can look over these meal plans. You'll notice you're eating your starchy food in the morning for the most part. Sometimes when I'm not eating oatmeal for breakfast, I'll have a sandwich a couple of days a week. Like I'm working and having to pack my lunch. It was just an easier way to go. But once in a while I'll have it for lunch, but I try not to have too many starches at night. So just, if you look at these, the meals are kind of samey, except that you'll see the grain is in the morning. You're trying to get these super 6 nutrients, which we will go over in depth in the next workshop. I will reveal, I mean, they're here. I'll reveal all about why, but they're all here. So, you know, you want to try and get probiotic foods at each meal too. And that's going to help you with your gut reset. So you'll notice there's a probiotic food at every meal. There's fats at every meal. That's important for menopausal women. There's a lot of protein. 30 to 50 grams of protein is a lot of protein, ladies. So we're going to talk, there's a whole workshop on protein and why it's important. But I just kind of want to give you this overview. Then I'm going to go through the supplements. I have them on my, it's on another slide. This is the shopping list. This is all in one document. This is a quick start guide. So if you want to just go and like bullet point everything that I've talked about, it's here. And there's links. There's links to the recipes. There's links to the brands that I like. There's a whole document on pickles and which pickles are actually probiotic and which pickles are just canned. And then a little bit about fitness and why it's important and mental wellness. So that is this. I've got my recommended oils for all different budgets, what's the deal with all the different kinds of oils, and then how I shop and what I do to save money, because I am not independently wealthy and I don't want to break the bank. I eat really, really well, but I don't spend a ton of money. I make a lot of food. I don't go out a lot anymore. I used to, but you can't get the kind of food that you want going out. And if you do, it's super, super expensive. And then I have like this whole kitchen gadgets, like what I love. I love this little thing. I did a workshop yesterday that I recorded and I used my little grater. I'm like, I got this at IKEA when I was 20 years old, and I still have this freaking thing, and it's awesome. So just like little things that I love. We're going to go back to, no, we're not going to go back to that. We're going to go back to, hold on, I'm going to stop sharing. I got to go back to the presentation, but I just want to give you a little, are you guys good to keep going? We're like halfway through. We've got another half an hour probably. Is that cool?
I'm
Yeah.
fine.
Okay. I didn't mean to, but I did. Stop sharing. We did a lot of talking, which was awesome. Actually super fun. I'm going to share a different screen. So I've got to start this again. Hold on one moment. Oh, it's over here. The only thing I don't love about this new presentation is it's tricky to switch between this form and the other. Okay. So you completed your intake form. I've reviewed that. We're going to focus on the things that are important to you. We're going to talk about phase one. So phase one just means this is the time for figuring out what works and what doesn't for you. So if there's areas you're struggling with, we can talk about it. I talked a little bit about scheduling a one-on-one. You can refer to the quick start guide, like print that out, carry it with you, whatever. It contains more of the how and not the why, the how and what and not the why. So I think it's important that you understand the why behind a lot of this stuff, but I'm not going to feed it to you. You're not going to be drinking from a fire hose. So I'm going to give you the bullet points ahead of time. And then I'm going to slowly tell you, why do we do this? Because it makes a difference, and you can adopt some things that are important to you, and you don't have to adopt everything. Moving on. Okay, so we talked about the detox. We talked about the clean eating plan. We're going to ease into that, right? So in the first week, focus on the basic things: hydration, sleep, daily movement. This isn't going to start next week. It's going to start the following week. We're going to track it, but you can start next week focusing on those things: hydration, sleep, and daily movement. Both of you said to me in your intake forms that something regarding sleep was something you wanted to work on. It is my biggest issue in my personal life. And it's my problem isn't going to sleep, falling asleep. Sometimes it's staying asleep, but not really. My problem is making enough time to get enough hours of sleep, going to bed early enough for the time that I get up in the morning. That's always my goal, is to improve that. Some weeks are good, some weeks. So we all have sleep stuff that we can work on, and we'll focus on that. So sleep, hydration, daily movement. Just keep thinking of those three things. We're also going to begin to follow a whole foods nutrition plan. So focus on the foods that don't come in a package. It's going to be daunting if you're someone who eats a lot of like frozen meals and stuff like that. Probably you guys are both probably pretty healthy. Most of the people that come to this program are already eating pretty well. And don't think it means eating salads and grilled chicken and broccoli all the time, because it totally doesn't have to. I have a bunch of different soups that I love to make, especially when it's cold. Like I love to have something warm, even for lunch. And if you don't like meal prepping, let's change your mind about that, because that is what's going to keep you on track, especially if you're busy and you're working. If you prepare the thing that you want to eat ahead of time, it's going to be easy to grab and you're going to eat it, versus just figuring out what's available at the time. So start slowly. We'll do a little batch cooking. We can store up some meals. I always have like 3 or 4 dinners in my freezer and a bunch of little jars that I can grab for soup for lunch. So if I don't have time on any given weekend, I've got stuff. And I've got some healthy casseroles that you can make. I have things like, if you're going to have guests, I make this big fiesta casserole. And if somebody's coming over, like we eat that and everybody loves it. So just setting yourself up for success is going to be really key here. I'm busy. I have a really busy lifestyle and I can do it. So if I can do it, anybody can do it. Okay, we got the shopping list already. The recommended supplements. So I didn't go over this. What I want to do, well, I'm not going to play this. Am I going to play this? No, I'm not going to play this. I have an Instagram post. Well, yeah, I'm going to play it. If you guys have time, let's do it. Oops, stop sharing. I want to bring this up. So you've all heard of Ozempic, right?
Oh yeah.
The way Hollywood loses weight.
In one word. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
unbelievable though. So many of my friends are on it.
Oh,
Really?
really?
I do too. And it just blows my mind. It is so bad for you. Number
I'm
one.
just like, are you going to be on it for the rest of your life? Because that's what I think you have to do. And they're like, wouldn't you be interested in losing? And I'm like, not that way.
That way. I know. Okay.
That's
So I
desperate yet.
think I have, this is Dr. Amy Shaw. I love her so much. A lot of my program is based.
There's actually a natural version of Ozempic, the weight loss injections that have taken the world by storm. GLP-1 is a natural hormone that keeps you satisfied, that is released with certain foods, high fiber foods, nuts, avocados, and eggs. There's actually a natural version of Ozempic, the weight loss.
Okay. So natural version of Ozempic. Wouldn't you like to know? One of the supplements I recommend. So I don't recommend a lot of supplements. I truly, truly believe that you should get most of, it's best to get your nutrients from clean, organic, whole foods whenever possible. That said, few things that people don't get in their diet easily, or it's not bioavailable. So, there might be vitamin B and iron in the meat you're eating, but it's not the way that the food is produced and made in this day and age. It's just not that nutrient forward. So these are the things that I take. I've noticed a marked difference when I'm taking them. That none of these are required, as with anything, nothing's required. But if you're going to bother buying supplements, I would say try to get the best quality that you can, without spending too much money. So obviously I have a list, and with links on it that you can buy. Most of this stuff you can buy on Amazon. Not all supplements are created equal. So read the labels. You don't want a lot of fillers. You don't want, glycerin in your supplements, like stuff like that. And so if you read it and it has a ton of stuff, steer clear. I'm going to give you the brands that I recommend and the links and everything. So the first one is berberine, referred to as nature's Ozempic. It helps with the release of that GLP-1, which helps regulate insulin and insulin secretion in the pancreas. So insulin, I wanted to do like a whole thing on insulin resistance and how it works, because it's really a complex process in the body. And I scrapped it because it needs its own hour. But just know that insulin resistance can happen a number of ways. One of the ways, and I like to talk about this because like you, Nicole, I think I told you this. I was going on vacation and I really wanted to just like lose 5 pounds. I was going to get in a bathing suit in the middle of winter. And I was just like, I just want to lose 5 pounds. So I had been working out consistently. And I said, okay, I'm going to double down. I'm going to do my normal workouts. And then I'm going to do this extra 20 minutes of push-ups, sit-ups, jump rope, weights, whatever, like this little routine that I was doing. So I was tacking on an extra like 15 minutes of exercise because I knew it was calories in, calories out. I was counting calories because I couldn't figure out why I couldn't lose any weight. Counting calories, I was cutting calories, I was barely eating anything, I was working out a ton. Do you know, thank God I have a digital scale because I lost a couple of ounces. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known. Ounces. I looked, my body composition was a little better because I was building muscle, but oh my God, it was enormously frustrating, enormously frustrating. And one of the things that I stopped doing after I came back from the vacation, that was the beginning of like really what this program is. I was cutting a lot of calories. So I was eating a lot of sugar replacements, even stevia, which I thought was pretty healthy. And I had like, not even the kind that you buy at the store that's white in the little packets. I bought this natural stevia that was green powder, still powder. And I was eating stevia with like my 3 cups of coffee and putting it in this and putting it in, I mean, he's eating a lot of artificial sweetener. And what happens is your brain does not know the difference between the sweet taste of stevia and sugar. So it makes insulin, which your body cannot absorb. It's an overproduction of insulin because the calories aren't there. And so that really can mess with your metabolism. So I cut out all artificial sweeteners and sugar. If I wanted to have something sweet, though, I did have either sugar or honey or date paste, or I ate something that occurred in nature.
That's
I
fascinating.
argue that stevia occurs in nature, but not in that form. It's a leaf and it's
Yep.
so sweet. You can barely have anything. So when it's all ground up like that, you're eating way too much. That being said, if you're eating a lot of artificial sweeteners, I would say try and stop that, because that I really think that was the thing that helped me. After that, I lost weight normally, but I was also doing a lot of other things. All right. So GLP-1 aids in satiety. It signals your brain to tell you that you're full. If you're diabetic, pregnant, or breastfeeding, which I don't think any of you are, or if you have low blood sugar, you don't want to take it. So just a caution. The recommended dose is between 500 and 1500 milligrams daily. I can give you all this information on the supplement. It shows that. Magnesium. I love magnesium. It comes in like 5 different forms, including a topical version. There's a really good post that I've linked in there by Amy Shaw that gives a good example of each type. So I like to take magnesium citrate because it helps keep me regular. If I don't take it, I'm kind of dependent on it. I don't know if that's a good thing, but if I, start having a constipation problem, I will add an additional dose of it. Some forms of magnesium calcitrate, I think, can help with sleep. But it is one of those nutrients that we don't get enough of. It's not very bioavailable. Find what works for you. Supplementing is recommended for magnesium because most of us are deficient, and it's magic for hormonal function. It's important in maintaining muscle and nervous system function, cardiac electrical properties. It supports your immune system. It can regulate glucose and insulin and metabolism. So my pro tip to you is take it at the same time every day, 400 milligrams. And you have to, if constipation is your problem, maybe magnesium citrate. If sleep is your problem, the other kind. And I have a matrix that shows like which is which. The citrate, or the one that helps you sleep, you want to take in the evening. Take it every evening before bed. I started taking if you're on any thyroid medication, you want to take your supplements away from the timing of that medication. So magnesium will interfere with absorption of thyroid medication.
The one I bought was glycinate. And I only took it one day, and then I got scared because I was constipated the next day. And people had told me, and I know that's ridiculous, but like literally it was probably like I ate something, but I was like, oh my God, it went the other way because I heard it helps you go, or it can, and it can help you sleep. So I bought it, but like I have a whole jar of it that I haven't taken.
So
And I don't understand the differences.
You'll see on the supplement form, I'll give you the lowdown on which kind. So if your problem is constipation, then citrate is the way to go. If your problem is sleeping, I would say, I think it is glycinate. Not sure. I can never remember.
It kind of depends on the day, honestly. That's why I'm bouncing around so much on the metformin and everything else, is ever since August when I had, and I don't know if you've had any issues, Natalie, but like, it just kind of depends. Like if I eat something that that is too processed, or maybe it has too much fat, then maybe the next day's a wreck, Yeah. Like I wake up and I'm like, whoop, I don't even have time to brush my teeth. So
yeah, I have a lot of those days.
yeah. It's like, so anyway, I'd love to kind of smooth things back out in that regard.
And supplementation at the same time every day will help with that. I think oatmeal helps with bowel movements because there's a lot of fiber in it, and fiber is going to be key. Eating the fruits and vegetables, and I take flaxseed, there's seeds in there. Those are all going to help.
Okay.
All right. The next supplement, I would have you take vitamin D3. It plays a role in calcium absorption. And as menopausal women, we are not holding on to as much calcium, which is why osteopenia and osteoporosis are prevalent among aging women. So it helps to regulate your immune system, and it releases important neurotransmitters. So most people are not getting enough bioavailable vitamin D from their food supply because of deterioration of the soil. And we don't get large enough amounts from the sun, because like, who's out in the sun? Like I think they say something like you got to have 30% of your skin exposed. I mean, not wearing a tank top to work. So
Well, and where all of our makeup has SPF in it now. I mean, just like so much,
Yeah.
you know.
So you need to get it mostly from your diet, but you can supplement 400 international units that I use daily of vitamin D3. And I have a link to exactly what you need to take. A vitamin B complex. So vitamin B12 deficiency can lead to anxiety, fatigue, poor nutrient absorption. And B12 is better taken as part of a complex to avoid like an imbalance of the vitamins in your body. So B12 can be taken up to 1,000 micrograms a day. You can't take too much. But I will tell you, I was taking 10,000 micrograms a day because it can help with depression, anxiety, energy. My mom used to get these vitamin B shots. And when I went to get my blood work done, when I was really kind of feeling sick, my doctor's like, you can't really have too much vitamin B, but you are so off the charts right now. I want you to slow that shit down a little bit. She's like, take it once a week. Okay. So anyway, 1,000 micrograms daily is fine. I also take biotin. I started taking it because I wanted my hair to grow faster, but I also found that it regulates metabolism, stabilizes blood sugar, another one, and you get strong nails and hair. So my nails, I don't even get manicures anymore. I don't need, what's that called? Gel. Don't use gel. My hair grows fast. My eyelashes grow fast, which is nice. You can take between 30 and 100 micrograms daily. Vitamin C. Vitamin C is what's called an essential vitamin, which means your body cannot produce it. You have to get it through your diet. But it has a lot of roles that have been linked to some really cool health benefits. So it's a powerful antioxidant. It can strengthen your defense against inflammation. There's a link between vitamin C and lower blood pressure, lower risk of heart disease. It helps to prevent iron deficiencies. It boosts immunity. It helps protect your memory and thinking as you age, which is a problem. This is something I've started taking more recently because I was kind of ran into it in my research and I was like, oh, okay. So you want to dose a minimum of 75 milligrams, but you can take up to 2,000 milligrams. Too much isn't going to be like deathly, but it could cause nausea or diarrhea. So I say cap it out at 2,000 milligrams.
And do you do a chewable or a capsule, or what do you do?
I have a capsule. You could take chewable if you want. Sometimes those have a lot of additives in them. They have sugar and stuff, so they're palatable.
Okay.
So steer clear of those. The last one is called Armra Immune Revival. So this supplement is incredible for immune support because it strengthens your skin, lung, and gut barriers. So if you've ever heard of leaky gut, what that means is your gut microbiome is so out of balance and there's tears and holes in your digestive system, which means some of the bowel matter is getting into your bloodstream. It's disgusting. So you want to strengthen.
My stepmom has it.
Yeah.
And it's bad.
It's
It's
gross.
real bad.
Yeah, I had it too. It's disgusting.
Did?
Yes.
Ugh.
Yes. That's why I got into like all this gut microbiome stuff. So it rebuilds your gut microbiome. It activates cellular health and performance and revives all like your whole body health. So you just mix it with cold water and wait for it to dissolve. It doesn't have any taste. You can't add it to hot drinks because that kind of cancels out all the benefits. This is going to maybe be kind of gross to you, but it is bovine colostrum. So if you remember colostrum, it's that pre-breast milk before it comes in with all of the immunity factors that you give your baby in their first days of their life. So I actually take a double scoop every day. There are flavored versions, but they have stevia in them. So I don't take that because I take it every single day. I just get the unflavored version. I put it in water. Gary takes it. My neighbor the other day was diagnosed with pneumonia and she is so fucking sick right now. And she's been sick. She's gotten COVID twice. She gets colds all the time. She's always home from work. And I wanted to say something to her. She's done the program and she knows about all this stuff. And I wanted to say to her when she told me she had pneumonia, I'm like, Catherine, you need to start doing something about your immune system. And she texted me the other day and she's like, what was that stuff? Because I know you and Gary never get sick. I'm like, I'm bringing it over. You can start taking.
Oh.
So, I mean, I think it really works. And it also helps you with your hair growth and your nails strong. So that is not cheap. That In fact, when I started taking it, I think maybe 2 years ago around Christmas time. And my first like container of it was only $49. It has doubled in price because I think it's
Oh,
like
wow.
really popular. But I
Popular.
think it's worth it. I buy it on a subscription, so I get like 15% off, and it just comes, and I try not to look at the bill because it's kept us from getting sick. I mean, I haven't missed work. I haven't, I got this rash, but now we know why.
It can't stop you if you're gonna drink gin. Come on.
Right? I know. All right. Let's move on.
Gin used to make my ex-husband crazy too, by the way. So maybe it's just
The thing was, I never drank gin. I've maybe had a drink with gin in it and didn't know, but I was never a gin drinker. And on vacation, I found these really yummy, it's called gin basil smash. It was basil and lemon juice and gin, and it was delicious. So I was drinking 2 of those a day, but the little French bartender, I was like, what is in these? And I said, what kind of gin is it? I thought, these must be a really fancy gin. He's like, Gordon's. And I'm like, oh, what's that? And he pulls it out, and it's Gordon's, right? Like the So then I didn't break out. I had a little bit of stuff around my chin, but I thought that's from the sunscreen because I get breakouts from the sunscreen.
yeah.
I come home and I'm drinking better quality gin. I was drinking Bombay and Tanqueray, and I was making drinks. My friend was here. We had some on Monday. We had some on Wednesday. By Thursday, which is when this happened, had a really stressful event at work. And I thought, I'm just really stressed out. Well, that night I had a couple of drinks. Friday night, I had 3 drinks. And last night I brought a picture of it over to my neighbor's house because they had us over for dinner. I made like a batch of it for us. And I could feel them popping out. They were getting in my scalp. I was itchy. I was like Woogie. I was itching everywhere.
Emily.
Finally, my neighbor's like, what have you changed? Like, what have you done differently? I'm like, I don't know. And she's like, well, I've never seen you drink gin before. I'm like,
Light bulb.
and I knew that juniper was in. I'm like, I'm allergic to juniper. I'm allergic. Like when growing up as a kid, my neighbor had a juniper bush, and I would come home with these rashes. So I knew I was allergic to it. I was like, I never thought about it.
Oh my
I
gosh.
immediately stopped drinking it. I'm trying to flush my system out today, but time will tell. I mean,
You're like, damn it, my new fun drink.
I know you have to make it with tequila or something. I don't know. I don't need to drink. Like I don't really drink that much, but I was really kind of going off the rails. Anyway, let's move on. We don't need to talk about my rash anymore, but it's kind of fascinating.
Yes, it is.
Right. So for the fitness portion, I will design and have designed programs around the fitness equipment that you have available to you. So that's why I asked you, what do you have at home? Obviously, you have a water bottle and some mats, some light, heavy, medium weights for workouts. The bands and balls are useful for your core exercises. You should aim to move your body daily. So there's 2 components, right? There's the workouts, and then there's what I call EPA, everyday physical activity. So walking, biking, swimming, yoga, Pilates, weight training, HIIT, kickboxing, running, rowing, gardening, cleaning the house, the everyday movements, all of that stuff counts. Playing with the kids. We all have grown kids, so we don't play with our kids. Walking your dog. Like you're going to do that anyway. So do that. And then also add in the movement. So everyday movements add up and they count. I would say a minimum, you should formalize a workout about 3 days a week that incorporates some kind of weight bearing or resistance training exercise. So building skeletal muscle, which is the muscle that connects to your bones and allows you to move and do what you do, is key to a foundation for longevity and healthy aging. Resistance training and weight bearing exercise supports bone density. So as you age, it decreases. That's osteoporosis, right? Your bone density goes down and people get osteoporosis. So the risk is higher in women because our bones are typically smaller and less dense than male bones. And menopause, as our levels of estrogen fall, and estrogen is what bolsters bone density. So your estrogen levels fall, your bones are smaller, your bone density goes down, and it is bad for us. So resistance training is going to help build muscle, and it's going to boost your metabolism, and it gives your muscles a nice tone and looks good. So when you think about your metabolism is based on your muscle mass versus your visceral fat. So that body composition. So you increase your metabolism when you increase your body composition to being more muscular. So you're going to start burning more calories, so you can start eating more, which is great because you don't have to starve yourself. If you're running and you're just burning calories, you are not increasing your metabolism, you're lowering your metabolism. If you're strength training, you're increasing your metabolism. So while you're working out, you can also support that workout with the food that you're eating. Does that make sense? I have a little bit more on that. So most of us grew up thinking cardio was the answer to weight loss and health, but weight training really is the key. And if you can work your way up to 5 days a week, alternating upper and lower body, that's going to be ideal. They don't need to be long workouts, especially if you do them on a day when you're also walking and doing your everyday stuff. So I've provided a variety of workouts for you to choose from each week. I give demonstrations of the beginner and advanced levels. Nicole's done a couple of workouts with me already. Depending on where you are now, try 3 days a week. You can choose an upper body and lower body focus on the first day. Switch it up, but it can be done in 20 minutes, right? You don't have to work out for an hour. I've got some quick, so I have a video library that you're going to have access to of all these videos that I've recorded with the workouts. And I've done this series of, they're called quick hits. So they're like things that you could do in the middle of the day with resistance bands, just, at your desk, eat lunch and then do a quick like resistance band workout just to get it in. If that's hard for you to get it in. So I have something for everybody in there. If you can join me for my workouts, that's always more fun to work out with a group. And I don't know, are you having fun? You've been to a couple at least, right?
Oh, yeah. I only got to go to one so far, Emily, but I
Really?
loved it. Yeah, it was just one. It was the one that was your sister and Grace, I think, was the one.
Okay.
Friggin' Flynn is hilarious. I mean,
I know.
Grace's dog is like all over her. He's a big golden retriever and she's like trying to stretch and he's like, come on, I want to play. Anyway, I have a great day. And so I just didn't get her up before the workout. My problem is I work from home. So all my company is on the East Coast and you guys are getting up super early. It's 7 for me. A lot of my doctor appointments, my coffees, my stuff are at like between 7 and 8:30. So I'm just having trouble like attending, but I want to, and I think it's more fun if you can do it live. So I'm going to try to stop scheduling things as much in that time frame.
Yeah,
So
I mean, look, it has to fit with your schedule.
Yeah.
I'm going to start recording some of the ones that I do with the group so that you can catch them like the next day or something like that. And I do nighttime ones, but that's going to be too late for you. There, it's 6 o'clock. That's 7 for you. So
Yeah, I'm almost sleepy time by then.
yeah. So, and I recommend working out in the morning. Like if you can help it, work out in the morning. It's always better. So you want to build muscle and you are going to have to do it gradually over time, but the key is to challenge yourself. So what I found with people that were coming to my gym, I can't really see what people are using on the videos, but I can kind of tell. But people would come to my gym and they'd pick up like the 2 and 3 pound weights. Strong women who were physically fit were like not challenging themselves. And I finally like put those weights away and I forced them to try because they can do it, but they're used to working out like a million reps with these light weights. And we have bar classes and I do bar classes and that is a method. But if you really, really want to see results, you got to challenge yourself with heavier weights. Like start with the heavy weight, do a couple reps. If you can't continue, then you pick up a lighter weight. So I think that is one of the things that I just see a lot of people kind of I don't want to say making a mistake, but they're falling into a trap of like, I don't want to bulk up too much. And if I do lower weight and higher reps, it's going to get the shape I want. It doesn't matter. You want to build muscle. And when you build muscle and start losing fat, that's when you get the shape that you want. Your muscular system is going to be what it is. I am not a person who's going to have long, lean muscles. I have a friend, her name is Penny Lane. She has arms so long and her muscle is stretched out over that long arm, looks amazing. She's like Michelle Obama. My arms are never going to look that way because I have a different build. So I had to come to terms with accepting that no matter how thin I get and I have muscle, it's never going to I'm never going to have a long arm because my arm is not long. You
You're
know,
a tiny person.
right? So like, I just want to point that out, like, because that was something that really bothered me. Like, I wanted to look like people that didn't have bodies that were like mine. So
Yeah.
try to love the body that you're in and make it be the best version of itself that it can be.
Great advice.
Also, remember,
Natalie, just so you know, Emily and I never got to see each other for like the first, I don't know, 8 months we worked together. And then we were going to a work trip and she goes, I need to warn you because she has this ability to look, she looks tall on Zoom. I would have never known. But she was like, I just need to warn you, I'm really short. I was like, what? She goes, it's a little off-putting to people when they first meet me after having only known me over Zoom.
you know, a lot of people are like, whoa.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny, I met Emily in person, so I don't have that in my mind.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Natalie's tiny too. Natalie, I think
I
you're
am.
smaller than me.
I'm 5'2".
Okay,
Okay.
we're
I'm
both
4.
Yeah. So none of us are that tall,
And shrinking by the day.
right? Not when we get our strong muscles, we're gonna stretch it out.
Right.
One thing I want to tell you, and you may, I don't remember if I was wearing this on the workout that you're on, but I bought a weighted vest. So I followed this other doctor. Her name is Dr. Mary Claire Haver. She is an OBGYN focusing on menopause in women. And wearing a weighted vest when you're doing anything just helps with that bone density. It like if you're just gonna go for a walk. So I've been walking with my vest. It's 4 pounds, not a lot. I'm going to work my way up to like maybe a 6 or a 10 pound. It should be about 10% of your body weight, not really more than that. But you can wear it around the house. I've been wearing it just when I'm like doing stuff around the house. And it just kind of adds a little bit of resistance while you're doing your EPA, your everyday physical activity, and gives you, helps to build that bone density. So it's really good for you.
Definitely we're not wearing it. You were on vacation.
Yeah, I didn't bring it on the plane.
Yeah,
Really
I wouldn't
thought
either.
my sister-in-law was going to be like, that is over the top. Get away from me. She would have. Yeah. All right. So the great debate. There is a theory in the fitness industry that a higher percentage of weight loss and body composition is diet over exercise. So some say it's 80-20, some say it's 75-25. Hardcore gurus are going to tell you it's 90-10. But the truth is, the answer has more to do with your consistency in both areas than anything else. Meaning, if you spend all week cutting calories and working out so hard that you're sore and not enjoying your food in order to eat the right foods, you might really burn out on that. And by the end of the week, it all goes out the window. I hear a lot of people who save up for a cheat meal, right? What do they have? A high calorie, low nutrient processed food that leaves them feeling bloated, unsatisfied, and depleted. And then they feel guilty and they start that cycle all over again. So recently we were with family over Christmas and I heard somebody saying that they buy at home this fat-free, sugar-free ice cream. And they said, oh, it tastes terrible, but it's healthy, so I buy it. You know, the chances are that food-like product is full of so many chemicals, preservatives, artificial sweeteners, wreaking havoc on their gut. It doesn't give them the dopamine hit that they're really looking for when they eat ice cream. And then what's worse is someone's like, yeah, you can eat the whole container. And I was like, oh yeah, I know, I used to do that. But think about it. If ice cream is a treat, have ice cream, have real ice cream, the kind that has whole high quality ingredients, natural flavors. It tastes amazing, feels creamy and decadent in your mouth. But the mentality, like you have to get over this mentality of being able to eat a whole bag or container or box. It's so crazy when you think about it. And I used to cling to that.
How do you feel making like the cottage cheese ice cream with fruit and cottage cheese?
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. There's all kinds of great stuff out there, but there's also like Halo Top and stuff that kind of touts itself. Like a lot of the keto products are really bad for you because they have like sugar alcohols in it. And that just really fucks with your gut lining. That's what gives you leaky gut. If there's something that tastes too good to be true, it's probably really bad for you. And the thing is, I mean, look, I've eaten the Halo Top. I've eaten the whole container. But I didn't feel like happy or satisfied after eating it. Never once. And I had a lot of fucking gas, like really bad gas. Because it's full of stuff that is not going to make your stomach happy. So if you prioritize nutrient dense whole foods at the forefront of your diet, If you establish a consistent fitness routine, you're not going to crave those foods. You're not going to feel off. You're going to actually get to a point where you feel off when you don't exercise. You feel off when you can't eat the foods that you want. And, you know, I want people to have a treat now and then, but it's not going to be a treat if you are, you know, feeling guilty about it. So have it in a small amount. I used to not be able to have anything in a small amount, right? I was a binge eater. I would binge and purge in many different ways, and it kind of took on different forms over time. I over exercised. I did everything under the sun. But what I can tell you is being able to sit down and say, I want a bite of ice cream, or I want, you know, a little cup of ice cream, and eating it and enjoying it and moving on and not even thinking about it. That's a fucking miracle for me. But it's totally possible. So if you struggle with that, I don't know if you guys do, but that was reality for me. And it feels so good to just say, yeah, I'm going to have a bite of ice cream and it's not going to be a problem. Either way, it's not going to be a problem. It's a beautiful thing. So
Yeah.
this little diagram that I made, it's really not that great, but I created it because, you know, a lot of what the diet and fitness industry focuses on is just weight loss. They're just focusing on weight loss. So we have weight loss on one axis because that is like what people are thinking. And both of you did say in your intake form that you want to lose some weight. So I think it's okay. I don't want you to think that this is about weight loss, but this diagram shows the matrix of diet and exercise. And, you know, we all know what the outcome is going to be if we do nothing. Nothing will change if we do nothing. If we cut calories, for example, we're going to lose weight, but we're also going to lose muscle. And with muscle loss comes a decrease in metabolic rate. So over time, that strategy is not going to help you sustain whatever goals you have. So here's an example. I have a friend. Your body also adjusts to what you're doing. I have a friend who was an ultra marathoner. So she was running 50 miles. And, you know, I was like, wow, that's, first of all, don't know how you do that. Would never want to do that. I ran a marathon once and almost died. But I said, can you eat whatever, like, can you eat whatever you want? Like, what's up with that? And she's like, actually, no, my body adjusts to, my body now knows that I'm exercising so much. She's like, I eat like a normal amount of food. Because over time, your body will adjust. Your body is meant for survival. So if you're running from a bear or a lion all the time, like it's just, and you're not going to get food, it's going to have to recalibrate everything to adjust for that. So, you know, exercising more and cutting calories isn't going to, over time, get you to where you want to be. If you have a reasonable diet and combine it with exercise, you should be good, right? So I would say take it one step further. It's got to be the right kind of exercise. And this is where I want to stress that resistance training is going to build muscle and increase your metabolic rate. You're going to burn more calories. You're going to feel stronger. You're going to be able to eat more. Like all the things are going to line up when you start building muscle. And, you know, a byproduct of that is that your shape is going to change and you're going to be happy with the way that it looks, right? I'm working on my bingo wings. They're so much better than they used to be. All right. We're almost done. We literally have like 2 or 3 more slides. All right. This is just a sample fitness plan. You don't need to follow this, but you know, day 1, try to walk every day as much as you can in your normal course of what you're doing daily. Like if you can take the stairs instead of taking an elevator or an escalator, do it. And then I would say, select a full body workout. This is when I had the program it was all written, but I started doing the videos. So just pick a workout, do a workout that you do, just make sure it involves some kind of weight training, resistance training. Again, there's exercise in here every day. And then once we figure out how much you can handle, we'll reassess it. So this is just kind of a sample plan from kind of the beginning of the program when I thought people needed to be told what to do. My recommendations, I'm not going to show you this, but I will share this with you. It shows like the books that I would recommend, the social media accounts that I would start following, podcasts that I listen to, and then all the references. So I list every single document or book that I read over the course of the last 15 years that have informed some of this. Just keep in mind that some of that stuff was not healthy. Like some of the books that I read were crazy. But they informed some of the stuff that I'm talking about now, and then my references and my certification. So I'll share that with you. I'm not going to share the screen. Key themes that I noticed, the two things, and I mentioned before, our key themes are sleep, improving our sleep, and losing some lbs, which I think will just happen over the course of this. You'll notice when you reset your gut, and decrease your toxic load. So there's something called the toxic load, which is all of the chemicals in the environment, in our skincare products, the things that we eat that contribute to all this toxicity in our body. And when we have inflammation and toxicity in our body's going to hold on to everything that we have. So that also can make it difficult to lose weight. So we're going to detox ourselves from the inside out. We're going to do our best with our nutrition. We're going to be moving, and all of that's going to contribute to better sleep. I'm going to give you some sleep strategies as well, for some of the specific stuff, but we'll go over that in our next week's course. Any questions?
Cool.
This was very interactive, so I hope some of your questions got answered, but is there anything that you've jotted down or anything that you have questions about now?
I did jot a lot down, but are you sending us like a follow-up with some of those links to the,
All of
okay,
it. Yeah.
Perfect.
All of it.
awesome.
Email's already written.
Hey,
Ready to
I'll
go.
have some homework. What? What'd you say?
I said the email's already written. I'm ready to hit go.
Oh, okay. Is it in a sequence? I'm just kidding.
Not yet. I wish.
Oh my gosh, this was great, Emily. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for holding on for another 43 minutes. I'm so sorry it went over, but I like that you guys really are interested in talking about stuff and sharing. I think that will make it'll be nice for us to get to know each other that way. So thanks.
I agree. No, this was good. This was eye-opening to things I have learned about, but it's a good review. And also the vitamins, I am really bad about that. So to hear about those vitamins, that's a good thing, because I need to get my body more supplements. Because sometimes I'm eating salads and I think I'm doing good. It's actually not enough. So
Yeah, I mean, some of our food sources just don't have enough nutrition available. So
right.
those really aren't a lot of supplements. And because I take a thyroid pill every day, I'm already like planning out my pills, and I have 2 pill boxes. I do it for 2 weeks at a time, because like I just can't do it every week. So I have these 2 weekly pill boxes, a day and a nighttime. I've got my vitamins in there. I just load that up. I put some on my nightstand. I take my vitamins at night, and I take my thyroid pill. I literally take my thyroid pill in the middle of the night, because you need to wait an hour before you have coffee even. So I set an alarm for 3, and then I get up at 4 and have coffee. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
But that's silly me, right? But that's because we have to wait before you can eat anything, or it doesn't absorb. And I kind of farted around with that. My doctor at first was like, you can have black coffee. And I was like, yeah, this isn't working. I'm gaining 1 pound a day. Please, can I please have some more? I was at 25 milligrams, and now I'm at like 70, 80. I think I'm at 80. So they start you out, and then they make you wait 6 weeks between it. And I was gaining 1 pound a day. I'm like, I'm just going to take pills. If you don't give me more, I'm going to take more. And that's what I did. Can you not do that? I'm like, can you not make me wait 6 weeks?
Don't mess with me.
Yeah, don't mess with me. I'm not here to mess around. All right.
All right. I have to go feed my horse, because she is heavy breathing on my leg. I don't know if you've noticed my hand down here. I'm like petting her, because she's just like,
I figured that was your doggy. Yeah. And it's good for you. Who am I going to see tomorrow morning? I got a really good workout tomorrow.
I'm
hoping. Yes.
Okay. All right. Excellent. I'm going to send a text soon. All right.
Okay.
Sounds good. Thanks so much, Emily, for putting this together.
Yes. Thank you for joining. Love
Can't
it.
wait till next week.
Talk to you soon.
Hope your rash gets better.
You too.
Okay.